Today I'm chatting with Anita Providel. She's the PR and Communications Manager at Coty. Hi Anita, how are you?
Good, darling. How are you doing?
Very well indeed, thank you. Tell us a bit about your role at Coty.
Well, as you mentioned, I'm the PR and Communications Manager, and I look after the PR for, I haven't actually counted how many brands I've got there, but we do, we've got Coty do a whole host of fragrances, celebrity fragrances, designer fragrances, mass fragrances, as well as Rimmel Cosmetics, and our newly acquired brand Sally Hansen as well. And we also have grocery brands, and I do PR for all of them.
Wow.
Yes.
So you manage an enormous range of brands. How do you make sure that you look after all of them?
I've learnt over the years, I've been at Coty almost 7 years, so I have learnt how to prioritise. I feel like I've grown with the company, so I can work out which brands need a bit more of a push, a bit more of help than some of the others, for example, that pretty much sell themselves in terms of PR.
Fragrances are a big part of the Coty portfolio.
That's right.
What are the kind of key fragrances that you're focusing on at the moment?
We've sort of, I don't want to use the word exhausted, but maybe exhausted the celebrity angle of fragrances. We still use a lot of celebrities as faces of our brands, but I think Coty has done really well with the likes of the Beckham brand, the Kylie Minogue brand, Sarah Jessica Parker, who is so hot right now. We're seeing more of a bit of a phase out of that, and more of a, I guess, a highlighting designer brands. Coty signed a license agreement with Bottega Veneta, which we're launching hopefully a fragrance next year with them. We've just launched Balenciaga with David Jones, and that has been a flyaway success for us. We sort of thought it would be. The fashion's unavailable in Australia, but a lot of people are familiar with the Balenciaga brand, and that fragrance, like I said, has done really well for us. And Chloe, what we've done at Coty is we've actually got what we called an ultra prestige category. So brands like the Marc Jacobs, Vera Wang's, Chloe, Balenciaga all fall into that category, and that, if you were to look at Coty as a whole, I see that as a really expanding category for us.
So with a celebrity fragrance, you can bring it to life with a celebrity.
True.
How do you bring a designer fragrance to life? Do you actually get the personality along?
We don't really. For some of these brands, for the designers to come to Australia, it's, you know, a trip that they fear. You know, 24 hours in a plane is like, you know, instilling the fear of God in them. But we recently had Nicolas Guesquer, who is a creative director of Balenciaga, coming out here, and he's quite a protected man, but he was really lovely, very candid. We had 5 journalists who got the chance to meet him and have one-on-one interviews with him. So the face behind the designer fragrances, that helps us as well, but it's also the selling the idea of Chloe, or the brand values, which, you know, if you can't afford to buy a Chloe handbag, you know, for a little over $100, you can buy into the world with a Chloe fragrance. So, and that's what consumers love from any age.
What has been particularly successful in that sort of designer fragrance already, whether in Australia or sort of around the world?
I think the Marc Jacobs brand has done really well for us, and I think that he's really moved onto the design of the bottle. That's what he does so well. We saw it with Daisy, and now we've seen it with Lola, where we've just won so many packaging awards. And you know, he uses different materials, perspex, rubber, all sorts of different things. And when you see his new project coming out towards the end of the year, it's just phenomenal. Like, it's just unlike anything that I've ever seen. And so that's sort of more of a trend, you know, that I see more like in the packaging of things. But Chloe has done exceptionally well for Coty worldwide. It's been a worldwide success. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's a fragrance that's not tricky. It's just going back to the scent of a rose, and that's what consumers have just devoured. They love it. They love it. So we can't really go wrong with the Chloe brand.
How are you managing the PR for Sally Hansen, having so many products in that range?
It's a growing category, and I never never realised how enormous the category was. Well, not so much the category, but the Sally Hansen brand. We've got 3 or 4 nail colour collections, and there's nail hardeners, there's hand creams. There is so many things I don't know what to do with. But we have, we've actually got access, I should say, to a great lady called Dana Caruso, and she is a global trainer for the Sally Hansen brand. So she knows nails inside and out. So I've really had to get her to help me just answer tricky questions about nail care that I'm sort of not trained up enough to answer and to help the journalist as much as what she is. So I'm quite happy to say I don't know the answer, but I'll get it for you from Dana. Yeah.
You've been working in PR for quite a long time now. You're almost an old hand, Anita.
I am an old hand.
Can you tell me what you believe to be the essential ingredients of a successful PR launch?
I think timing is a real key factor, whether it's timing of the launch in the stores around, you know, what season it might be, also the time of day that you do, if you were to do an event, for an example. And it's hard to determine what else is happening in the market. Companies, obviously, we know what other companies might be working on, but we don't know to what details. So I think that's the tricky part, is trying to work out what will engage a journalist and what else is happening and how to get that cut through. And that cut through can come from the most simplest of things. You know, and I guess with my brands is, you know, I'm not the boy who cried wolf. I don't say that every brand is the biggest launch for Coty, because I think that way I lose respect. I lose respect with the journalists, and that's something that is really, you know, really important to me. And I'm not honest in saying it's not a big launch for Coty, but I do specify the ones that are a priority for us and the ones that we need the most, you know, support with, and that the readers will really benefit from whatever product it is that we're launching. So honesty is a huge thing in PR, which is kind of a contradiction in terms, but it's true.
That was going to be my next question, was, and what are the successful attributes as a person that you think you need to have to be successful in this business?
I think a lot of transparency in your character. I try, and it doesn't, like, it's my day to day, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I get a call from a journalist, I need to be able to put whatever it is that I'm working on and help them with whatever they need. So you kind of need to really be able to wear different hats throughout the day, and dealing with different people. So, you know, you could be dealing with, you know, your marketing teams is very different to dealing with some of the advertising reps, to dealing, with whoever. So I think just that, you know, you have to have a character that is not moldable, but, you know, you adapt to different situations. And when I'm in a social situation, if it's a function or wherever, I don't find that I'm too dissimilar to the way I am with my friends. So it's something, you know, if I'm happy and I want to be there, then it kind of comes through. So yeah, it's like maybe most jobs.
So what's your favourite part of the job?
I actually look forward to coming to work most days. Not everyone says they look forward to every day. I think just the amount of brands that I have keeps my job so entertaining, so exciting. I feel it's innovative. Everything is just happening all the same time. In one way, that's a hindrance for me as well. If you were to ask me what's my biggest sort of, you know, the negative parts of my job, it would probably be the same thing. So just not having enough time to service all the brands as much as they need. But, you know, we work in an industry where we're surrounded by a lot of great people and a lot of, you know, women who have been, actually, and a man as well, who have been, one man, who have been mentors for me. And I think it's an industry that's, you know, there is a lot of mentorship that goes on. And yeah, the industry as a whole is, I'm quite happy to be working there.
Tell me about what you consider to be your most successful launch since you've been at Coty.
Oh, definitely the Kylie Minogue Darling launch. Yeah. It was at a time where all the stars were aligned for that launch. Kylie had just, you know, battled cancer, had beat it. We were, you know, she was just about to start her world tour, you know, launched a fragrance, which we had the product ready to go prior to her getting ill, but when she got ill, we sort of put it on the back burner and we're waiting for a more sensitive time to launch it, if we were going to launch it at all. So, you know, it was an event. We had a private house at Vaucluse, and we couldn't tell journalists or the media, you know, where the party was at. It was her first public appearance after her coming out from battling with cancer. So it was just really special, and we had a lot of our VIPs coming out from our head office in Paris, and it was a nice way for us to show them that Coty Australia can do a global PR event, and that we're just don't have kangaroos hopping around our offices and things. I think they've got a demented idea of what we're really like in Australia. So, yeah, we're not all about, you know, Akubra hats and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, can you give any tips on what you think is a good idea in PR and what works and what doesn't work?
I think doing PR for your brands and having a point of contact that the media can go to is almost like adding a personality to your brand. It's almost like adding a real voice to your brand. You can have brand values, but how do you communicate those if you don't have someone who is doing your PR for you? And I think if you were to look at someone to do PR for you, you need to look at the networks that they work with. You don't want to work with necessarily people who are just used to the luxury market, or vice versa. If you've got a luxury product, looking for people who've just worked with the mass. I find that there is a difference in that as well. But it just goes hand in hand with your marketing mix. It's a vital part of it, as is, you know, marketing, or if you're to do advertising, it's just the product that you have. Everything, it has to be all worked in synergy for it, you know, for your product to be, or your brand to be recognised and people to buy it.
That's an excellent answer. Thank you very much, Anita. I really appreciate your time. It's been nice to see you.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you.